Okay, there we go. All right. So, this is just review from our exponential equations that you guys learned on Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday. And then had the skills check. It was on the skills check on Friday. Some of you guys weren't here, I believe, last Friday and didn't get to do the skills check. Is that correct? So when I give you guys time to correct your skills checks, because they, for an open note skills check, did not have a great average. So I didn't want to put them in the grade book, so we didn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over bell work. We're going to go over some things that I think a lot of us across all the Algebra 2 classes got a little confused on. We're going to go over some of those things, and then you guys are going to have time to correct your skills checks, okay? I'm going to regrade them and then put them in the grade book as your new grade. So if you want to keep your grade and you're happy with your grade, you can do so, okay? But for those of you who weren't here and didn't get to take it on Friday, you can then take it during this time. Make sense? Okay, so real quick, the bell work. With our first one, 7 equals 49 to the x. What do we want to do? First, what did you say, Julian? Yeah, base. Yep, you're good. Find the common base. So 7 and 49 have what number in common? 7. So that means we're going to keep our left side. Whoa, that's real big. We're going to go like this size. There we go. We're going to keep our left side the same. Okay. How can we write 49 as a base of 7? 7 squared. And then to the x power. And then what do we do next? Multiply. So we'll get 7 over here. What is 7? What is the power on this left side technically? 1. So we want to write that in so that it doesn't confuse us. So 7 to the first power. And then what's our right side going to look like? 7 to 2x, yep. And multiply those. All right, now we have same bases. So we can get rid of these and then drop down our exponents. So we get 1 equals 2x. Solve for x. What do you get? 1/2. Okay? What'd you say? Shouldn't get 1/2 for the second one. I think so. Yeah, let's go through it. So, are you guys good on the first one? Okay. Second one, 4 and 16. When we have a fraction, we always look at the bottom number first. We haven't really dealt with fractions that have a number on top and a number on bottom. To my knowledge, they're not on the test, so don't worry about that. Like 2/3 being here, that would be way too complicated. We don't need to worry about that. So 4 and 16 have what number in common? 4. So how can we rewrite 1/4?
1/4 to the negative second.
Not 1/4 to the negative second, but 4. What'd you say? Negative. Oh yeah. 4 to the negative 1. So we want to bring that 4 back up as a base. All right. And then we write it to the negative 1 power because that's how we got it as a fraction. And then 16 we rewrite as what? To the second. 4 to the second. 4 squared. Does that make sense? Okay. And then multiply your exponents. You get 4 to the negative x equals 4 squared. Got beautiful same bases. Get rid of these. Drop down our exponents. Though we don't want x to be negative. Technically, that means we still have something with our x. So what do we have to do? Divide by negative 1. So x will equal negative 2. Yeah, make sense? Okay. All right. And our last one 3 to the x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 9 to the x minus 2. So what is our common factor between 3 and 9? 3. So 3 stays the same. So how do we rewrite 9?
3 squared.
3 squared, x minus 2. We're going to get 3x plus 1. And then what do we get over here?
3 to the 2x minus
2x minus 4. Well, we got same bases. So we can knock those out and then drop our exponents down. All right, and then solve for x. So add this over, subtract this over, and you get 5. It's greater than or equal to 1x. Or you can just say 5 is greater than or equal to x, okay? And you might have done it in an opposite way, where you might have subtracted the negative 2x over, and then subtracted 1 over. So you got a negative on both sides, divided by a negative, had to flip the side, okay? Still gonna end up with the same thing, or you should. Make sense? All right, everyone good on the spell words? Okay. Who wasn't here Friday? You two? Anyone else? Thanks. Forgot to check the first arrow. All right. So we need to get started on this too. All right. And you have access to your notes, so use your notes, okay? For the rest of us, and you guys can pay attention to this as well if you want. For the rest of us, a couple things I want to go over that pretty, I think a lot of us got a little mixed up on. First things first, and this is partially my fault. I know the wording on number 1 is a little weird, but when it says identify AH and K, that just means tell us what your AH and K values are, and describe how f of x is related to the graph of the parent function. That means tell us what the transformations are, okay? So it's just basically asking how does this function, how does the function that we gave you change from its parent function? Okay, so just tell us the transformations. So, really quickly, a couple things I noticed. Our A value is going to be everything that comes in front of this base. So in this instance, don't forget what? Look at your problem. Sorry, number 1 on your skills check. The sign, yeah. Is that what you said? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, don't forget the sign, okay? Because that sign is important and it does something to the graph, okay? So our A value does 2 things. What does our A value do? It reflects if it's negative, compression or stretch. Reflection when negative, okay? And then there's one more thing, and you said it's stretch or compress. So we stretch when our absolute value of A is greater than 1. What is our absolute value of negative 7? It's 7. So that means we stretch in this instance. Okay? So that means we compress when absolute value is between 0 and 1, meaning when A is a fraction, it compresses. Okay? So yeah. And when you guys edit, when you write your corrections on your paper, can you please write it in something different? We had colored pencils are over there by the turn-in bin, or if you have like a different colored pen or pencil, please rewrite your corrections in another color so I can tell what you changed, okay?
Oh yeah, I just have to change that.
There's one. Yeah.
So, what happened?
Just rewrite your corrections, okay? All right, so that deals with A.
So
That's
stretches if it's greater than
yes, stretches if it's greater than 1. Our H value, this is another thing we all kept getting mixed up on. It's x minus h originally. So in this instance, it's x minus 2, right? So it's f of x equals negative 7, 3 to the x minus 2 plus 4. Your h value is the number after x and the opposite sign. The opposite sign that it is. So in this instance, what is our h value? 2, not negative 2, okay? So don't forget, it's the opposite sign of what you originally had, okay? Does that make sense? Go turn. H equals 2.
Excuse me.
Sorry. And then what's our k value? Wait, what did you say? Yeah, 4. So what you need to remember, our h value deals with what? What's our transformation with our h values? Where does it go? Yeah, left or right. H value deals with horizontal changes. So left or right. So I need you guys to write on your, if you forgot to write these transformations on your skills check, you need to know which way is it going horizontally. Is it going left to or is it going right to? Okay? And something to help you remember this, H, horizontal. Horizontal starts with an H, okay? Think of X's, your X direction, okay? So then our K direction, or our K, where is it going? Up and down, so vertical. Yeah, those were the 3 things, okay? That I noticed on number 1. So we just really need to nail down our AH and K values. It's the biggest thing. And the transformations that go along with them. Number 2, the biggest thing, make sure you plug in your points, make a table. That'll be really helpful. With this like standard form equation, what does H tell us? Yeah. Do you remember what H tells us? When we're like going to graph it, what do we use H for? Yeah, right. Or it's either, sorry. Not horizontal, that's the transformation. Not your asymptote. H tells us the numbers we're going to plug into the table. Do you guys remember that? H tells us the numbers we're going to plug into the table. What does K tell us? Do you remember? Asymptote. K is our asymptote. Okay? These are our points to plug in. All right? Those were the few things I noticed. So now you have the rest of the time, which is about 25 minutes, to finish and re-correct your skills check and work on homework and ask questions, okay? If you're confused on something that I graded on like points you missed, I can come help you with that, okay? So let me know. Yeah, you need something.